Okay. All right. I don't actually know if this is working, but this is my first ever attempt at a live stream, and it's the first time I've done it on YouTube anyway. I usually do quite a bit of this over on Instagram, and it's a completely different way of doing it, like tech-wise. So it's kind of taken me all afternoon to get this far with setting the camera up. So sorry about kind of the lighting and everything, but I just kind of thought I want to start sharing in a sort of easier capacity. On YouTube, everything takes a long time. You've got hours of video editing to contend with. And I want to just have a little go at doing things a different way and see if I can find a way to share my work and talk to everybody here without having to do hours and hours of video editing. So over time, the intention is that I'll get better lighting in here and a better microphone and everything. But for now, I just kind of wanted to see if it was possible to do this at all, see if I could get my laptop hooked up and even just get started with it, really. I mean, try and find out how easy it even is to set a live stream up. So bear with me, and hopefully this is at least working. I will test it before it kind of goes up. Hopefully it will be able to go up onto the channel as a video to watch later, but we'll see what it looks like. I'm kind of doing this in the dark right now. That kind of, because it took me so long to even get anywhere near being ready to start. It's got dark outside and I'm in the studio here. I've got the lights on and I've got my lamp pointed down here, but it's not the easiest way to work and probably not the easiest to see either. I'm working on this little part of this page, so if I just move my reference photo there, that's not quite what I'm after. Hello everybody, it's me. There we are. You'll be able to see the whole of the page that I'm working on right here. And I've been doing this a little bit on Instagram Live as well, and that always goes up on my Patreon too. So this kind of little area here is all tied into that. But I'm kind of getting through it bit by bit. This coloured pencil work is slow stuff. And it's all about building up these layers bit by bit, very, very slowly. And as time goes on, I'm intending to teach a lot more coloured pencil, particularly using these sorts of streaming and live classes. So keep an eye out for that on my website and on here, my Instagram and other socials as well. This plant that I'm working on here is called Orak, and I wanted to include it on this page here. So we've got kind of sea cow, we've got bird's foot trefoil up here, but this one is one that is a kind of summer plant that grows on the pebbles of the beaches close to where I live. So I wanted to include it here. I can see that there are some people watching, which is really great. Thank you. If you can tell me whether you can hear me, that would be really awesome, because I actually have no idea how this is coming out. I've got no idea. Thank you for popping in. When I do these in the future, I'll make sure I put them, or at least that I film them at a time of day where the light is better. So you won't have this shadow like right here, which is where my GoPro camera is pointing down and the lights are higher, and yeah, I'll try and find a way around that. Great, glad that the audio is at least working. I don't have a proper microphone setup in here, and actually I think that my laptop microphone is better than the one that I use to record my YouTube videos, and that sounds ridiculous, but I think that actually is. So there's that, at least. You see how slow this kind of thing is? Just adding layer by layer. Eventually you kind of reach a point where you can't really add much more pigment, and that's kind of where you're forced to stop. These little leaves, they've got little hairs on. They've kind of got little bristles, and I want to try and show that here. Yeah, so I didn't actually announce at all that I was going to go live because I just had no idea whether it was going to work. But it's nice to know that it is functioning broadly. What I'd like to be able to do is kind of get this to zoom in a bit on the area that I'm working on, but I don't really know how to do that. So I'm not going to do that just now in case something awful happens. Usually I'd have a really nice kind of backing track of the birds singing and stuff going on outside, but it's kind of all just kind of gloomy now, and the birds have all gone to bed. It isn't actually dark out, it's just I'm in the kind of back corner of my little studio, and in front of the windows, kind of in this direction, there's a load of trees, and I'm kind of hidden in the wooded part of the back end of my garden, so it looks like, if I look out the window, it looks like it's already dark, but actually if I look up through the skylight, it's not dark, it's kind of just cloudy, nearly dark though. Here in the UK, the clocks will change, I think, this weekend, if not next weekend, and then it will be dark this time. So I'm trying to make the most of it, really. Make the most of being able to work in the evenings, and yeah, before it kind of all just turns into that season where you just want to cozy in and gets a little cold out here to work. Right, I think I'm going to put some dark in now. Let's grab my black. Let's put some dark in around these edges here. This is all so unscripted. I haven't decided anything much about what I'm going to be doing today. I just wanted to test it. It's nice to carry on working into this area here, actually. I've got this sort of middle of the book, the fold where the pages come out here, and I've got to try and work out how I'm going to go across this edge. Now, I've done this before in my other journal, so I think it's okay. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But I don't want to make a mess of it. It's very easy when you've got an edge to put pigment down into the crack, and then you end up with this horrible line going down the middle of the page, and I don't want to make that kind of a mess here. So I'll do it very carefully. So it's taken a little while to get the text set up for doing this sort of thing. And as Cindy said there, I did the World Wonder Conference, and that was the first time that I actually used everything in this way. So I had the cameras, I had this layout here, which it's using a bit of software, free software called OBS, and that was allowing me to stream everything together onto the channel in this way. So this is really kind of the second time that I've put these things together to try and start streaming to you. And it's a little bit nicer actually than using the phone, I think. And I think it allows you better control over all the settings. So if it stops working, I should know about that and be able to do something about it, hopefully. On Instagram, you've just got off and on the phone, as far as I understand it. I can't quite understand that you can do anything more than that, although I'm sure someone can correct me. I'm putting in this lovely blue on the pebbles, so it's visible for us. Lift it up there. There's this sort of nice blending, trying to blend all of these colours in together. And I find that the blue works really well with the brown. I've got a set of 72 of these pencils, so I've got quite a lot to play with in terms of colours. But I sort of do it by eye and just lay things over the top as and when I kind of feel like I need another colour. It's very hard to teach that. It's kind of a instinctive sort of thing. Now, what's next? There's lots of dark areas here actually in my reference photographs, so let's put some grey down here. I've got all of this new stuff brewing, kind of behind the scenes of how I'm going to be presenting classes for 2024. I've got a whole load of online stuff coming up. Like, I'm desperate to talk about it, but I've really got to hold off and not say too much, because I'm going to be telling patrons, or current patrons, about it. And then I'll be telling the newsletter about it, and then I'll kind of come on here or on Instagram, or probably both, and talk about it. But it'll be a lot more of this sort of thing. So I've got to get this right. I've got to get all of the setup and the technology stuff that I don't understand. I've got to get all of that working properly, because this new stuff that's going to be really awesome, it's going to need this to work. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Hey, Artemis, thanks for joining. I was saying I'm really nervous that anyone's even here. I kind of thought, oh yeah, I'll just put it up on the channel, no one will watch it, because I'm just going to test and see if it works. And yeah, some people are watching. Thank you for that. Thank you for joining me. So this can be a bit painstaking, really. Just building layers. I'm just going to keep on going for, I'll probably keep going to about maybe like 6 or something. Just get a bit of this done. So if nothing else, it's making me sit down and actually work on this instead of doing all of these myriad tasks that I've got going on at the moment. One of the next things that's coming up is I'm going to London at the beginning of November to talk with a few other nature journaling professionals at the Royal Geographical Society. And they've got a kind of exploring event that they're putting on. and Roseanne Hanson is going to be there, and she's done a lot of the arranging of this. And Ali Foxon, who wrote the green sketching book, she's going to be there as well. And Tony Foster and myself, and I believe a few others. I think that might be it. There may be some more who I've forgotten too. And it's kind of a little scary because I don't really go and talk in big London very often. Not anymore anyway, not since I stopped being an academic. So to go back into that academic circle and talk about doing nature journaling is going to be very different and very new. So coming online and talking about what I'm doing is good preparation for that. Thank you so much for watching, everyone who's on the comments. It's really nice for me to see that people have popped in here. Hi Linda and Gisela. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to meeting Tony Foster. I haven't met him. I've heard so much about him and seen his work and everything. So I'm kind of like getting to meet some of the people who have inspired me, which is really amazing. It's like the other week I went to Dulverton again to see Jackie Morris, who's doing a book signing and like a little celebration event for the Seven Fables shop. And I just go a bit silly when I meet people like Jackie Morris, honestly. I just kind of, I'm so inspired and in awe of the things that they do that I've got to actually work at trying to function socially as a human being at the same time as being in their presence. So that's quite funny. But I'm sure it'll be the same with Tony as well. And Roseanne and I are going to be teaching here in my little area of East Devon as well. A bit about botanical ink making and botanical paint making. It's really exciting. There's a lot going on actually. And at this time of year, for when there's a lot going on, it's quite difficult actually, because it's kind of like, this is my hibernation time. This is when I want to mostly just kind of curl up on the sofa, to be honest. But I'm pushing through it. I actually haven't done much botanical ink making for a while. I've been so focused on this project, this Undercliffs project, and going back to the coloured pencils again. Also teaching in DERWENT INKTENSE a lot, so going back to kind of watercolours and coloured pencils and specific mediums that are way more kind of commercial. It's going to be really good to go back to natural ink and making things from plants again, because I really want to do more of that. And after this project is finished, I've got a new project that's going to go back down that direction, so that's going to be good. I think I've got a lot to learn from Roseanne about the ink making, so the fact that we're teaching together is quite funny because I'll be learning from her too. Getting there with this. You'll see that even though my lighting is a bit naff, I hope that you can see that we're getting somewhere with this Orac plant. I don't know if this plant is still around or if it's kind of died back now. It really is a summer plant. I haven't gotten out into the Undercliffs for a little while, and this is the area that this journal is all about. I haven't been able to go, mostly because it's just been raining all the time, and on rainy days it's kind of easier to just go, okay, well, I will get a load of stuff done. I've got so much stuff to do behind the scenes of trying to let people know about what I'm doing and all of that stuff. it's so much easier to just go, just have a go. I don't want to go and get soaked. And I won't be able to take any photos because the camera can't get wet, so it's an excuse not to go. And it also gets so muddy out there. It's really muddy this time of year. And it's only going to get worse until it starts getting too cold and the mud freezes. So maybe I'll just wait until the mud freezes. How about that? Now I think my drawing here doesn't actually directly follow the photograph that I've put up on the screen. It kind of looks a bit different. I think I was doing a bit of artistic license on where I wanted leaves to be. Let's get a red out. There we are. So it's, yeah, not quite exactly the same as the one on your screen there. But I never, in this book anyway, I try not to just copy photographs. It's kind of not where I'm going with this. I sort of use the photograph, but try to bring out some sort of characteristic of the plant that I'm interested in. In this case, it's the fact that it's in amongst the pebbles like this and the way that it grows. So I've kind of left bits out and put bits in from other observations as well. Now, the biggest thing that's going to happen tonight is I'm going to watch this back and I'll be like, oh, am I going to put it on the channel? Am I going to let it stay? Or am I just going to delete it in horror? I don't know whether you think that it'll be worth me keeping it up there, whether other people might like to see this. Whether it's actually useful, I don't know. I think now I know that the technology actually works okay. I can script these now and decide, formally what I'm going to do and film them at a sensible time of day, get the lighting right, all of that. So this one might just be a trial and not stay on the channel. Let's see. Dark under here. It's interesting actually, I'm putting these great big pebbles in because this plant actually isn't that big. So you can see the size of the pebbles, maybe the pebbles are like this big and the plant's the leaves are like, say, that big. Not that that actually means anything scale-wise, maybe. But I've got this area here that's really zoomed in. And this plant's really small. This one's actually huge, this plant. So everything's kind of all in some different scale on this page. And then the pebbles here are the same pebbles that are on this beach. So I've then got to have something to sort of show that they're the same pebbles going off into the distance there. So that's going to be fun. I have to figure out a way to do that. That's telling me I've got 10 minutes to go. Just my phone buzzing. And it's not dark outside yet. I really hope that this isn't going out too far on YouTube. I hope they're not pushing it too far. I don't think that many people are watching, so I recognise some of the names of the people who have popped in. So don't judge me on this stream. It really is a first try. I'm nowhere near ready for the algorithm to like this too much. So I'm going to put some orange on one of the pebbles, because there is an orange pebble at the back there in the reference photo, and I think I'd like this one to be orange, because there's quite a variation in these pebbles on the beach. They're flint pebbles, so they're all sorts of different colours. I have this habit where I get all of my coloured pencils in my hand, and then I've got so many that I have to put them down and kind of start again, gather up some more colours. It's really annoying, actually. Yeah, I think that's happening a little bit. I'll probably continue to hide in the woods a lot. It's kind of yeah. I'm not much of a London person, but I do like the city, and I'll go and see the Natural History Museum again, and maybe go to the National Gallery and stuff as well, and see one of my yoga teachers who teaches in London do some yoga. That will make it all seem a bit less scary, I think. Yeah, so these pencils that I'm using, they're Derwent Pro Colour. So they're your standard wax colouring pencils. They're the same ones that I used in the Wild Wonder class that I did, the journaling, the woodland class. Same ones as that. At the moment, I'm doing a whole load of work on water-based media, like the Derwent INKTENSE, so the ink watercolor pencils. It sounds really silly, ink watercolor pencils. They're kind of ink pencils, really. So I'm doing a lot with those and writing a course, filming a course at the moment that's all about those. So doing this is quite nice. It's getting everything back into gear for colouring pencils. And given that this big project's all about colouring pencils, I can't really let that slide. So it's really good to be using these still. They're kind of a medium, as coloured pencils go, they're kind of a medium level of softness. They're not pastel-like, and they're not oily. They're wax-based, and they're my favourite ones to use. I did try a bunch of other pencils. These are still my favourites. There we go, orange pebble. Next, shadow. I wonder if I might actually, got like 5 minutes or so before the end, I wonder if I might actually be able to finish this little area. That would be really mean I've been really productive today, apart from just trying to get the tech to work. I'm sort of vaguely copying some of the pebbles in this picture, but not really. I have spent so much time sitting on the beach, honestly. Or should I say I don't really, not anymore. I used to spend a lot of time sitting on the beach, especially when COVID was going on. This year, the weather's been so awful, I haven't spent much time sitting on the beach. But I've spent a lot of time looking at pebbles and looking at these types of pebbles in particular. So I don't really need to copy the photograph, just where the light and shade is. I'd say that's actually the biggest benefit of nature journaling, is you spend so much time observing stuff that gradually you reduce your reliance on copying and just sort of go to your creative like memory, I guess, and pull stuff from there. Let's just look at the photo though, because there are some interesting shadows that are underneath the plant, and I think it would be nice to put some of those in. So I'll go for my Payne's Grey colour. It's not Payne's Grey, it's called Blue Grey, but essentially it is Payne's Grey. And put some of the shadows that are underneath the plant. as soon as you put shadows onto anything, it gives it a wonderful sense of depth, as long as you put the shadows in the right place. This one doesn't need one because it's already going into the dark area here, but I can darken it up a little bit more. I definitely need one under that leaf. Let's put a shadow under here. Notice I'm not actually using black for the shadows. I'm using this grey, bluish grey. And can darken these up a little bit using gentle black over the top like this. So, I want some more shadows here over this side. How are we doing? Like 3 minutes until I'm going to turn the stream off. Maybe I won't finish the entire bit here. But I've done very well, I think, to get this far today. Always pat yourself on the back a little bit. Nobody's going to achieve like 24/7. Recognise the stuff that you've done today. Well done. Almost there. It actually gets quite hot in here once I've got these lamps on. I haven't put the heating on this evening in here, and I'm quite glad that I didn't put it on. Just putting a little bit more dark on this one. So I think what I'll do is I'll continue to practice in this way and make this sort of content, because it's very easy to make stuff for the channel when it's live. It's all I have to do is kind of just talk and draw, and I can do that. No editing involved in that, because YouTube will take this, and if I decide it's okay, we'll put it up. And if you like this and you kind of want more taught version, so instead of me just kind of chatting away and doing my stuff, you want to actually learn how to do this kind of thing, there'll be a lot of that coming next year. So make sure you're on my website mailing list. That's what I can really say. If you're not a Patreon supporter, just make sure you're on the mailing list and you'll find out all about this and how I'm going to be using this for teaching nature journaling in 2024. I think that's probably the main message from today. Come quite a way though in the half an hour or so that I've been streaming, so be happy with that. And I'm really glad that some people did tune into this to let me know at least that it's working and that I can see the comments and that the audio's okay. Yeah, I'll probably stop there, I think. So thank you everyone who did tune into this. Make sure you're on my mailing list. There's a link somewhere, and it's maybe in the description box, hopefully. And I'll see you next time I'm on.